Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about international marketing, one of the passion points of my entire career. It's been one of the highlights that I've been able to participate in international marketing. And I've been doing it for probably 20 years at this point, and I learn something new every single time I do it. So let me start out by giving you a little story about international marketing. Crisco oil or Crisco lard went into the Asian marketplace with its product. When it went into the marketplace itself, it had its can of lard, and it's sealed by a sealed top that you can't get off until you get it home. And on the outside of it, it had a picture of fried chicken because, of course, you use lard to cook fried chicken. So they went into the marketplace, put this stuff on the shelf. People started purchasing it, taking it home, and then they kept bringing it back and saying it was bad, that it wasn't working, that it wasn't what they expected. Turns out that the people who purchased the product and got it home actually thought that fried chicken was in the can. Now, it sounds funny, yes, but when they went to market, they didn't do any market research to understand the differences between that. It's an old story that one of my professors told me, and it's always stuck with me throughout my career. So again, I've done a lot of international marketing. I thought I'd give you a few tips on some things that I've learned. And again, you'll be able to download this off the link below and share the video and all of that with your friends and family. So let me run through a few of those for you. I've got 40 of them. I won't cover all 40 of them, but I'll give you a little bit of sense of some of these things. The best marketing is usually done locally. They understand the market, they understand the people, they understand how the channels work, etc. So if you're sitting at the corporate level, don't think that you're smarter than the average bear and that you can understand this stuff. You need to utilize your local marketers and local agencies and vendors. Don't have any preconceived notions about this. You got to come in with a blank slate when you start taking a look at international stuff. Also, you need to have humility, because you will find very quickly that you don't understand many of the things that are going on at the country and at the regional level itself. I certainly found that I wasn't as smart as I thought that I was when it came to international marketing when I first started. And frankly, today I still feel like I'm not as smart as I should be in regards to it, because it's so changing and it's just so dynamic. When you work down with the country level international marketing folks, get input from all different levels, from the region and the country. If you're looking at the regional level, say Asia Pacific, and your headquarters happens to be in Beijing, but you may be doing the marketing in Japan, those are two completely separate cultures, two completely separate countries. So you want to get the input at the country level when you go to market. Always stress test your marketing, because you don't want to end up like the Crisco lard story itself. Always do your translation in country. Do not have a translation company outside of that particular country do the translation. You always want to do it in country. It just makes it a lot easier. They understand the nuances, etc. Always get customer input. I always like to use personas when I market down in there, just like you do in any other marketing that you might be doing domestically. Remember that definitions matter. The way that you define a product, the way that you talk about a product, that is something that does matter at the local level, because it may not translate to them. Culture matters as well. You have to understand that. You don't want to offend any culture because of the way that you've worded something, perhaps some type of an image that you've used appropriately. Understand the pricing and price elasticity of demand as it relates to that particular marketplace, because it will be different by every single market that you go into. Legal requirements, absolutely critical. Currency conversion, if you're going to be spending money in that marketplace itself, you need to be cognizant of the currency conversions, because they swing back and forth. And if you say that you're going to be putting in, say it's 100 US dollars into yen, that fluctuation could change, and it could actually be that you've got to put $110 in to get the same amount within that particular marketplace itself. I've gotten caught on that a time or two, so please make sure that you take a look at that. Again, local legal requirements, I think I mentioned. Put together an international specific plan that's integrated with your global plan itself. You want to get that buy-in from the local marketplaces on that plan itself so that they understand what the goal is, what the strategy is, and that they accept the responsibility and they know exactly what the expectations are of them. Ensure that the product can be fulfilled. I know that that sounds a little crazy, but let's say you have a software product and there are challenges in getting downloads out of a particular country itself, say China, where sometimes the internet connections can be slow. If they can't download the product, they can't buy the product. So you always want to check that fulfillment side and whether the channel itself can actually drive the market itself. Always localize your creative assets in the marketplace. You don't want to have a picture of Washington, D.C. on the cover of a package when you're going into India. Localize your media. Media is very challenging in every single country across the globe. For instance, in India, television is measured completely differently, and television reception is driven completely differently than it is in the United States or in Europe itself. Understand technology limitations. As I mentioned, with the situation with China, you also have potentially other technology issues that may render the way that you go to market completely differently. When you work with people whose first language is not English, sometimes they have a difficulty translating what you say in English back to their current language, okay, or their primary language, I should say. I have found that sometimes bringing in an actual translator into those meetings has helped because it really clarifies things and everybody gets on the same page quicker, faster, and everybody understands expectations. So keep that in mind as well. Ensure that your metrics that you have at a local, region, and global level align. So, for instance, if you're looking at the amount of sales that come through, make sure that they can be measured at that country level versus being rolled up only underneath the region itself. So those are the types of things that you need to look at as well. Always have somebody within the country or the region who's the one throat to choke. You need somebody who's completely responsible for these particular actions. So make sure that you find that person and you assign that to them. You know, if you continue to go into these marketplaces, it's a great opportunity to take a look at the success that you've had and create best practices, templates that can help other regional markets as well. Expect mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're just going to have to deal with them and move on. Keep your local management informed of everything that's going on so that you continue to have their support and they understand what their teams may be working on within the marketplaces itself. And then finally, the last one, and again there's others in here, is to, if possible, utilize local public relations. It's a great opportunity to bring some attention to the local market itself, but again, making sure that it's done locally is much better than if you have them starting to work with somebody at a global level. All right, guys, that's about all I've got. Thank you for watching. You can share the video, like the video. You can subscribe to the channel below as well. And I will post the link so that you can actually get these 40 tips for you to download. All right, take care. Thanks.